the performance as such is not as sharp as I would have liked it to be. SUVs. We all love them but can't get enough of them. However, there are some stalwarts of this segment that are global successes, and one of them is the GLE 450. Now, Mercedes-Benz has recently facelifted the GLE, and today we are going to be reviewing it in this video. So stick around as I tell you what has changed, what remains the same, and what really takes your heart away. Now I'm sure that most of our viewers recognize the GLE because it is one of the most popular SUVs from Mercedes-Benz and is also a long-running model in the Indian portfolio itself. What Mercedes-Benz has done is spruce up the entire package a bit more, and that is exactly what I'm going to be taking you through in this video. Let's talk design first. Well, coming to the front, you can see that now the GLE gets a new pair of LED headlamps that also get these new LED DRLs. Then of course you have this large grille up front that now gets the Mercedes tri-arrow as a pattern. Of course, the front look is much more aggressive than the previous model this year because this car that we are standing in front of right now gets the AMG line kit, which means that the front bumper gets these really aggressive scoops and patterns, and of course then the scuff plate here is also there. Now let's move on to the side and see what's new. And this is what it is. The SUV is almost 5 meters long and over 2 meters wide, and that translates into just a lot of expanse, as you can see here. Now the highlights in the 2023 model are of course these 20-inch AMG line wheels that you see that get twin spokes and of course Pirelli rubber as well. Then coming to the side, not much has changed in the silhouette of the GLE, but everything has been refined a little more and looks really nice and classy. Of course, these flared up arches are a particular favorite of mine. As you can see here, the glass area of the GLE is still recognizable and very much what we are accustomed to seeing in this premium SUV. I particularly like this generation's rear design because everything comes together in such a refined manner while still retaining the butch and handsome looks that correspond really nicely with the front of this SUV. That is not something that all of the SUVs in this segment can claim, but the GLE has that title. In terms of changes, of course, you have the new tail lamps with the new illumination design, the GLE 450 logo, the Mercedes-Benz logo, and the 4MATIC logo here, which signifies that this gets Mercedes-Benz's all-wheel drive system. At the lower part of the GLE's rear bumper, you get parking sensors and also dual chrome exhaust tips. Now, you might be wondering why it is not visible that there is a rear camera here, but there is, and it hides inside a cap right here and pops out every time you put this car in reverse. Now that is something that I think is a bit over-engineered because you can always hear the camera popping out from its cap once you put the car in reverse or the car's 360-degree camera system gets activated. Opening up the boot of the GLE 4MATIC, this opens up 630 liters of boot space, and everything is designed to be working very nicely. Of course, there is a space saver here. There is no full-size tire available in the GLE 2023 as well. Then I'll ask you to come a bit closer because I want to show you what we get here in these switches. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Of course, you've got a luggage hook here, a 12-volt socket, and these are the buttons for putting down the seats right in the second row of the GLE. And then this button is special here as well, as using this you can bring the car's height down, which will help you in loading up heavy stuff and in other circumstances as well. So those were all the new exterior changes in the GLE, but the fact of the matter behind the success of this D segment SUV is that it looks and feels like the quintessential D segment SUV that we all have grown up seeing. You can see the tall stance of this car, the big fat chunky tires, the aggressive and dominating front look, and also the ample amount of glass room that this SUV gets. All of that culminates into the GLE becoming one of the most recognized and loved SUVs, not only in India but around global markets as well. Now let me take you quickly inside the cabin and show you what all has changed for this model this year. Now before I introduce you to the front side of this cabin in the GLE, let me first talk about the kind of comfort that is on offer in the second row, and that is especially important because this is actually the GLE 450 long wheelbase, which means that it gets a wheelbase of almost 3 meters, which also opens up a bit of extra room in this second row. Now the front seat in front of me is adjusted to my height, which is 5'11", and you can already see that I have ample of knee room here, and headroom is very good as well. Now my shoulders are also pretty comfortable, and leg room is also pretty deep and I can relax. One thing that I am noticing here is that the under thigh support could be a tad bit better, and I am not sure if that would be a problem for taller passengers during extended periods behind in this second row. Now of course the GLE comes with 4-zone climate control, out of which 2 zones controls are here, right here in the center. And the next interesting thing in the GLE's second row is this, that the middle row comes down to open up this handrest that also gets a lot of storage space. You can put your tablet or your mobile phones here, you can store some things here. Everything is designed to offer an ample amount of comfort to the rear passengers in the GLE. Now these pillows that you see are also part of the comfort package, and overall the experience back here is as comfortable and luxurious as one would expect in this segment. Okay, so now I'm sitting in the front seat, or rather the driver's seat of the 2023 GLE. I'm going to start driving because I cannot wait to get on the road, and I will also take you through the details of the changes in the front of this cabin, and let's go. So I'll just put the car in drive and take off. There is nobody behind me right now, otherwise the car would have alerted me using the blind spot monitoring system that it has. Now the biggest change inside the front cabin of the GLE is this brand new steering wheel, and I am really impressed by the design of it because it looks really stately and really modern, but also like an ode to sports cars, or you could say steering wheels in Mercedes-Benz's cars in earlier times, because of this central pod shape that you get, which is also your horn, and just the wing shaped design that it covers is really nice and classy, I would like to say. Then of course you've got physical and touch sensitive buttons on either sides of the steering wheel, and the entire unit is wrapped in very supple Napa leather. Then of course in the front you've got your very large digital driver information display, flanked by the 12.3-inch MBUX infotainment display right on the left side. Now overall, largely the design has remained unchanged for the GLE 2023, but the car is fully loaded. You get a wireless charger, you even get the cup holders that can cool your drinks even further and not let them warm up, or the other way if you would like that. Then of course you have the touchpad in the center console from which you can operate the 12.3-inch MBUX screen up front, and the screen itself, both the screens are so sharp and the resolution is such high quality that I loved using this touchscreen. Now, the touchscreen gives you access to a host of features and functions, including vehicle functions, comfort functions. Of course, the GLE also gets the Mercedes-Benz full gambit of ambient lighting, which offers up all colors and shades and even options to keep rotating those colors on its own. Now, apart from that, in terms of features and comfort, the Burmeister 13-speaker sound system is very high quality and very high fidelity also. Overall, I am here inside the GLE and I am in full comfort with a commanding road presence and a very good view of what is in front and around me. You know, I can go on and on about the kind of features that Mercedes-Benz has packed inside this SUV, but I think it would be better for you if you check out the brochure itself, because it is quite an extensive list. Now let's talk about the driving part, how the car performs, what are my impressions. Well, let's start with the engine, of course. The GLE 450 LWB gets a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine, which rarely makes itself audible when you're at very low RPMs, but when you push the pedal down, a very good surge and a very good sound note you can hear from the GLE. And that is something that is really, which will appeal and attract to the petrol head or the enthusiast inside you. Apart from that, well, of course, this is a traditional D-segment SUV, which means that the inherent shift in weight will be felt from the passengers, but the Airmatic suspension does a great job of soaking up all those bumps and containing all that shift of weight as much as it can. Then, of course, the Airmatic suspension is also adaptive, so it can adapt to different conditions that you are driving over and help you guide through in the most comfortable manner possible. Now, the car does not get a sport mode, but it does get a comfort, an eco and an off-road mode. Of course, this is the 4MATIC, so it gets all-wheel drive system, and Mercedes-Benz has also added the underside front camera, which they like to call the invisible bonnet, which can be really handy when driving over uncertain terrain or going over really rough patches where you really want to have a better look of what is underneath and right in front of the car. Done with that, here in the center I have the switch control for the SUV's ride height. Now, the air suspension in the GLE allows it to have different ride heights that can be changed when you are in off-road mode, and the car really does jack itself up to quite a height which is visually discernible. And then when you are in city conditions and do not really need that much of ground clearance, you can just toggle this switch to the downside and the car will come back to a very manageable riding height. In terms of performance numbers, well, the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder produces around 362 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. And while as soon as you press down, the 9-speed automatic gearbox goes into an aggressive shift, and that is the kind of performance you have, which instantly brings me to the one part of this SUV that I did not like in terms of performance, and those are the brakes. Now, while the GLE does get all 4 disc brakes with the front discs perforated for better performance, the performance as such is not as sharp as I would have liked it to be. Overall, if I am trying to do an emergency braking maneuver, well, it is not very comfortable, to be honest, and that can be attributed to its inherent construction, but I still think that the braking on this SUV could have been a lot sharper. Now, if I really go down on it, that is how it stops, but I am telling you that the whole car does not feel as planted as it should under hard braking. Apart from that, the brakes perform really well. It's not like that the car does not come to a stop, but just that sharpness, that initial feedback could have been better. What can I say about the front seat comfort in the GLE? Because these seats are just top of the line. They offer a host of features, even massage function, and a host of adjustments that you can make from here, and also get ventilation functions, as I told you earlier. Although all that is there, it still will keep reminding you that this is a almost 2.3 ton big jacked up SUV, and that you need to be a bit more careful when you are trying to push this SUV. Well, performance is not something that the GLE is made for specifically, but it does offer it up when you are in the mood. That is the kind of acceleration that is on offer. And right now, trust me, I wasn't pushing it that hard. But it's always good to know that you have that inline 6-cylinder offering up that 500 Newton meters of torque that quickly and in that surge on tap. So overall, I can relate to the fact why this SUV has been such a top seller and such a popular model, not only in India but across other markets as well. It looks butch and handsome. It performs really nicely and is also really capable thanks to the Airmatic, the off-road mode in the air suspension, and the chunky tires that it gets. So overall, the GLE seems to be a pretty good companion for your everyday driving as well as your weekend adventures. And that is something that I can see appealing to a lot of customers in the luxury SUV segment. So that was my day with the all-new facelifted GLE 450. What we have learned is that this is still as capable and effective an SUV as it has always been. You still get the 3-liter petrol, the all-wheel drive Airmatic system. Overall, at an ex-showroom price tag of Rs 1.15 crore, I am pretty sure that the GLE's fans will continue to buy these SUVs, because getting into the facelifted GLE is a lot like exchanging your iPhone for the latest model. You know it, you recognize it, and you are very familiar and comfortable with it as well. It still is the quintessential D-segment SUV. Let us know what you thought about this SUV in the comment section below. Like always, do remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Until next time, this is Amber Banerjee signing out.